Hateful YouTube videos. Silence is acceptance. We need to speak out on hate, and there's so many videos on YouTube with a variety of hate to go around, and you gotta learn that a lot of this is these people that are on YouTube, they have agendas. It's either their own personal experience that has been really negative, and so they're really upset about it, so they post hate speech videos. And a lot of it is because they've seen someone hurt in their family, or they grew up in a bad background, or they had an unfortunate experience or a number of incidences. And so because of that, you have men who hate women because of personal hurt, so they make videos. They want other men to join in bashing women, so they post all these videos, and they'll find various hand-picked, cherry-picked statistics of different issues, and then they kind of mesh them together, and then, or they'll make up, positions of why they hate black women, and then they categorize women. So already they don't have respect for women, period. And it's not just black women, it's all women, because you got to know where this is coming from, because they've watched movies like The Mac, they've watched movies like American Pimp, and they've watched celebrity pimps, rappers, song artists put in the music about how they hate women and how they objectify women and how they justify their hate towards women. They view them as property or beneath them. They call them all these nasty names. Ice-T is involved. He was in this movie, and that's where you hear this 10 reasons why I'd rather date a white woman. And when you hear the comments that he makes, he also makes white women look slutty. He makes them look like they're, more easier to train, as if they're property, basically. So the woman he's married to, if you've seen the videos with him and her, they had a baby. That baby's a girl. She's going to become a young woman someday. And I'm sure as a father, he wouldn't want men to put her down and make her feel like trash. And he personifies this pimp, Iceberg Slim. And you see, these are like celebrity pimps. This is coming from back in the 70s. And so this generation here, they probably would be in their 40s, a 40-ish, late 30s, 40-ish right now. And so that's where all these hate videos are coming from, is when you see these guys that grew up believing that women are just property and they're just toys, or trophies, or sex objects, or it's a business, and they call her the B word, and they do all this shaming, and there's a lot of abuse, and they make movies, and the movies are entertaining to a certain extent, but when you really look at it, you see that the women are really not really valued. They're objectified. As you do for me, and I'll take care of you, but you got to do for me. But if you don't do for me, this is what you're going to get. And so the women, you have women who will fight in defense of these men, even though they're being abused, they're being beat up, they're being mistreated. They are used to the abuse. They become conditioned to it. We're generally not hateful people. We're taught to hate as children. Children would play together and be friends, and they would befriend one another and learn to get along. But when you have people that come from bad experiences, or they post videos that you see on YouTube, or they grew up with bad experience, they had no exposure to other cultures and other backgrounds, they can post these videos, because the reason why they do this and they have those hardcore views about how they hate whites, how they hate blacks, how they hate women, how they hate gays or lesbians, how they hate certain people of different religions, is because they've had some personal bad uh, experiences. And women are tired of these videos of males posting how much they hate women and bashing women of color and bashing women who are white or bashing women just period. And so some of it also is coming from religious groups. I have to be honest to say that, indirectly, you know, some religious groups will say one thing about how they want people to get together, but what they don't realize is some of those messages are used to justify why people were enslaved, why people were marginalized, or why one group is better than another. Some of it comes from beliefs of Darwinism, the survival of the fittest. You know, then you have males that feel like they have to dominate women. So anytime a woman is saying she's a feminist or she has political rights, it's looked at as she hates men, and not that she's hating the position that she's in of not being treated equally. It's that, oh no, she's out to hate men, you know. And then you got women who have their own personal hurts within themselves. They don't want to eat. They see themselves as too fat. And so you have these magazines that show models that are, you don't realize that these magazines have been, designed to make people look smaller according to cameras and whatever camera tricks they do. And so these women, they look at it and they think, oh, I need to be skinnier, and they end up starving themselves. And so there's self-hate where they don't like how they look, their body, something wrong with it. It hurts everyone. And it's not just even within nationalities, it's gender hate. There's a lot of gender bashing on YouTube. It's sad. And words can be just as vicious and just as lethal as physical. Like someone hitting you and punching you or breaking your arms and legs and doing violence. Words can be violent and cut like a knife. And so you have a pyramid of hate on YouTube, of videos. It goes anywhere from acts of bias, which are non-criminal, to prejudice and bigotry, discrimination, violence, genocide. There's all types of hate coming from every direction. And when these people don't have any other platform, they use social media to present their positions of why they hate individuals. And it's coming from within them. So then they want a following, and they even want donations. They want other people who have similar hate within them to join and band together to continue the hate bashing. We hate some persons that we don't even know. You haven't had any experience with them, and you want to hate them all day long. So they find anything that they can use to justify, if they got to use religion, if they got to use quotes, if they got to use handpick. Really, they're not facts. They're facts from other sources that go with other issues, but they pull every little thing and then they put their own junk together to say this is why we hate black women, or this is why we hate black people, or this is why we hate white people, this is why we hate, and I'm not saying that there hasn't been injustice in the black community or towards black people. There has. historically there has been systematic oppression and hate. There has been Jim Crow, there has been lynching, there has been a lot of hatred towards black people and people of color and women and men, and there is police shooting and there is racist cops. There are things that are happening, but when you are like within your own group spewing hate, you think black women, if you post hate videos of black women, that's going to make them come to you and be your wife or your girlfriend. You're sadly mistaken. That's not going to work. You're pulling people apart and further dividing a community and pushing people away. The hate has to stop.